Hello everyone, I am Sunil Kumar BL, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Canara Engineering College. I am handling Advanced Computer Architectures 17 CS 72. Textbook is Advanced Computer Architecture by Kai Hong and Naresh Jotwani. Reference book is Computer Architecture, a Quantitative Approach by John L. NSC and David A. Patterson.
Chapter 8: Multivector and SIMD Computers. Compound Vector Processing, Multi-pipeline chaining and networking techniques are described here and design examples are given. A graph transformation approach is presented for setting up pipeline networks to implement compound vector functions, which are either specified by the programmer or detected by an intelligent compiler. Compound vector operations. A compound vector function is defined as a composite function of vector operations converted from a looping structure of linked scalar operations. Compound vector functions. The following table lists a number of example CVFs involving one-dimensional vectors indexed by I. The same concept can be generalized to multidimensional vectors with multiple indices. For simplicity, we discuss only CVFs defined over one-dimensional vectors. Typical operations appearing in these CVFs include load, store, multiply, divide, logical, and shifting vector operations. We use slash to represent the divide operations. All vector operations are defined on a component-wise basis unless otherwise specified. The purpose of studying CVFs is to explore opportunities for concurrent processing of linked vector operations. The number of available vector registers and functional pipelines impose some limitations on how many CVFs can be executed simultaneously. Vector loops and chaining. Vector pipelining and chaining are an integral part of all vector processors. Concurrent processing of several vector arithmetic, logic, shift, and memory access operations require the chaining of multiple pipelines in a linear cascade. The idea of chaining is an extension of the technique of internal data forwarding practiced in a scalar processor and also leads to stream processing. Chaining affects the speed of vector processors. Each of the CVFs are potentially a candidate for chaining. However, the implementation may hinge on the particular architecture of a vector machine. Principal concepts and implementation of vector looping, chaining, and recursion are described below. Vector loops or strip mining. When a vector has a length greater than that of vector registers, segmentation of the long vector into fixed length segments is necessary. This technique has been called strip mining. One vector segment is processed at a time. In the case of Cray computer, the vector segment length is 64 elements. Until all the vector elements in each segment are processed, the vector register cannot be assigned to another vector operation. Strip mining is restricted by the number of available vector registers, and so is vector chaining. The program construct for processing long vectors is called a vector loop. Vector segmentation is done by machine hardware under software control and should be transparent to the programmer. The loop count is determined at compile time or at runtime depending on the index value. Inside a loop, all vector operands have equal length, equal to that of the vector register. Functional units independence. In order for vector operations to be linked, they must follow a linear data flow pattern, and all functional pipeline units employed must be independent of each other. The same unit cannot be assigned to execute more than one instruction in the same chain. Furthermore, vector registers must be lined up as interfaces between functional pipelines. The successive output results of a pipeline unit are fed into a vector register, one element per cycle. This vector register is then used as an input register for the next pipeline unit in the chain. With the requirement of continuous data flow in the successive pipelines, the interface registers must be able to pass one vector element per cycle between adjacent pipelines. There may be transition time delays between loading the successive vector segments into the interface register. To avoid conflicts among different vector operations, the vector register and functional pipelines must be reserved before a vector chain can be established. The Cray-1 had one memory access pipe for either load or store, but not for both at same time. The Cray XMP had three memory access pipes, two for vector load and one for vector store. These three access pipes could be used simultaneously. To implement the SAXPY code on the Cray-1, the five vector operations are divided into three chains. The first chain has only one vector operation, load y. The second chain links the load x to scalar vector multiply s into operations and then to vector add operations. The last chain is for store y as illustrated in the diagram A. The same set of vector operation was implemented on Cray XMP in a single chain as shown in diagram B. Because three memory access pipes are used simultaneously, the chain links five vector operations in a single connected cascade. To compare the time required for chaining these pipelines, figure A shows that roughly 5 nanocycles are needed to perform the vector operations sequentially without any overlapping or any chaining. The Cray-1 requires about 3 nanocycles to execute, corresponding to about n cycles for each vector chain. The Cray XMP requires about n cycles to execute. In figure, the pipeline flow through latencies are denoted as S, M, and A for the memory access pipe, the multiply pipe, and add pipe respectively. These latencies equal the lengths of individual pipes. The exact cycle count can be slightly greater than the counts of 5n, 3n, and n due to these extra delays. Chaining limitations. The number of vector operations in a CVF must be small enough to make chaining possible. Vector chaining is limited by the small number of functional pipelines available in a vector processor. Furthermore, the limited number of vector registers also impose an additional limit on chaining. Vector recurrence. These are a special class of vector loops in which the output of a functional pipeline may feed back into one of its own source vector registers. In other words, a vector register is used for holding the source operands and the result elements simultaneously. This has been done on Cray machine using a component counter associated with each vector register. Multi-pipeline networking. The idea of linking vector operations can be generalized to a multi-pipeline networking concept. Instead of linking vector operations into a linear chain, one can build a pipe net by introducing multiple functional pipelines with inserted delays to achieve systolic computations of CVFs. Pipeline net or pipe net. Systolic arrays are built with fixed connectivity among the processing cells. This restriction is removed in a pipe net. A pipe net has programmable connectivity as illustrated in the diagram. It is constructed from interconnecting multiple functional pipelines through two buffered crossbar networks which are themselves pipelined. A two-level pipeline architecture is seen in a pipeline net. The lower level corresponds to pipelining within each functional unit. The higher level is pipelining of functional pipelines through the BCNs. A generic model of a pipeline net is shown in diagram D. The register file includes scalar and vector registers as found in a typical vector processor. In the diagram, A to D show how to convert from a program graph to a pipe net. Whenever a CVF is to be evaluated, the crossbar networks are programmed to set up a connectivity pattern among the FPs that matches the data flow pattern in the CVFs. The program graph represents the data flow pattern in a given CVF. Nodes on the graph correspond to vector operators and edges show the data dependence with delays properly labeled among the operations. Program graph transformations. The program in figure A is acyclic or loop-free without feedback connections. An almost trivial mapping is used to establish the pipe net, shown in figure B. In general, the mapping cannot be obtained directly without some graph transformations. On a directed program graph, nodal delays correspond to the appropriate FPs and edge delays are the signal flow delays along the connecting path between FPs. For simplicity, the delay is counted as one pipeline clock cycle. A cycle in a graph is sequence of nodes and edges which starts and ends with the same node. We will consider K graph a synchronous program graph in which all nodes have a delay of K cycles. A zero graph is called systolic program graph. The diagram shows program graph to PipeNet implementation. SIMD computer organizations. SIMD implementation models. SIMD models differentiates on base of memory distribution and addressing scheme used. Most SIMD computers use a single control unit and distributed memories, except for a few that use associative memories. First one, distributed memory model. Spatial parallelism is exploited among the PEs. A distributed memory SIMD consists of an array of PEs which are controlled by the array control unit. Program and data are loaded into the control memory through the host computer and distributed from there to PE's local memories. An instruction is sent to the control unit for decoding. If it is scalar or program control operation, it will be directly executed by a scalar processor attached to the control unit. If decoded instruction is a vector operation, it will be broadcast to all the PEs for parallel execution. Partitioned datasets are distributed to all the local memories attached to the PEs through a vector data bus. PEs are interconnected by a data routing network which performs inter-PE data communications such as shifting, permutation, and other routing operations. Second one is shared memory model. An alignment network is used as the inter-PE memory communication network. This network is controlled by control unit. The alignment network must be properly set to avoid access conflicts. Figure shows a variation of the SIMD computer using shared memory among the PEs. Most SIMD computers were built with distributed memories. CM2 architecture. The connection machine CM2 produced by Thinking Machines Corporation was a fine-grained MPP computer using thousands of bit slice PEs in parallel to achieve a peak processing speed of about 10 GPLOFs. Program execution paradigm. All programs started execution on a front end which issued micro-instruction to the back-end processing array when data parallel operations were desired. The sequencer broke down these instructions and broadcast them to all data processor in the array. Data sets and results could be exchanged between the front end and the processing array in one of these three ways as shown in the diagram. First one, broadcasting. Broadcasting was carried out through the broadcast bus to all data processors at once. Second one, global combining. Global combining allowed the front end to obtain the sum, largest value, logical or etc. of values one from each processor. Scalar memory bus. Scalar bus allowed the front end to read or to write one 32-bit value at time from or to the memories attached to the data processor. Processing array. The processing array contained from 4K to 64K bit slice data processors, all of which were controlled by a sequencer. Processing nodes. Each data processing node contained 32-bit slice data processors, an optional floating point accelerator, and interfaces for interprocessor communication. Hypercube routers. The router nodes on all processor chips were wired together to form a Boolean N-cube. A full configuration of CM2 had 4096 router nodes on processor chips interconnected as a 12-dimensional hypercube. MASPAR MP1 architecture. The MP1 architecture consists of four subsystems. First one, PE array. Second one, array control unit. Third one, Unix subsystem with standard I/O. Fourth one, high-speed I/O subsystem. The Unix subsystem handles traditional serial processing. The high-speed I/O working together with the PE array handles massively parallel computing. The MP1 family includes configuration with 1024, 4096 and up to 16384 processors. The peak performance of the 16K processor configuration is 26,000 MIPS in 32-bit RISC integer operations. The system also has a peak floating point capability of 1.5 GFLOPS in single precision and 650 MFLOPS in double precision operations. Array control unit. The ACU is a 14 MIPS scalar RISC processor using a demand paging instruction memory. The ACU fetches and decodes MP1 instructions, computes address and scalar data values, issues control signals to the PE array, and monitors the status of the PE array. The ACU is microcoded to achieve horizontal control of PE array. Most scalar ACU instructions execute in 170 nanosecond clock. The whole ACU is implemented on one PC board. An implemented functional unit called a memory machine is used in parallel with the ACU. The memory machine performs PE array load and store operations, while the ACU broadcasts arithmetic, logic, and routing instructions to the PEs for parallel execution. Diagram shows processing element and memory design in the MAS par MP1. Thank you.